Hey everybody, Tim here with today's episode of Discovery, Season 2, Episode 4, an Obol for Charon, which I like that title. It's about like the guy who crosses the river Styx and you gotta pay him, stuff like that. That's why you give coins to people who have died. Anyway, as far as the episode goes, it's not bad. It's kind of an interesting one. It's very reminiscent of like an original series episode or even the Next Generation type episode. For one, Number One shows up, who's great. Terrific character. Her first and only appearance was in The Cage, played by the amazing late great actress Majel Barrett, who then would play Nurse Chapel and the voice of the Enterprise computer, and then Luoxana Troy. Like, she did everything. And she went on to be the wife of Gene Roddenberry. So in this case, she is played by Rebecca Romijn, who's a terrific actress, Mystique, all sorts of stuff. So as soon as she shows up, you're like, hey, it's Number One. And that's her name, too, which is interesting. Like, that's Number One. Even that name has been passed down. So, like, that's why, like, Picard talks to Riker, the first officer, the Number One. Whereas, like, this is, like, her only name. You never hear anything else. She's just Number One. Saru has a cold. The alien from the pilot makes an appearance who now speaks English. And he's like, oh, I had a cold last week. And it's like, oh, hey, look, funny dialogue. That's awesome. So the ship gets snatched out of warp like a fly in a web. And there's the spider. And this is when it just becomes like an original series episode. Because there's this giant sphere alien that's 100,000 years old. And to get to the end of the episode, it's dying. And it's just trying to pass along its knowledge. Like, that's it. That's the whole episode. Most of it is like, at one point, the universal translator like breaks down. So everybody starts speaking different languages. And they even make a reference to like, it's the Tower of Babel, which there's been 2 episodes with Babel in the title. So that was kind of interesting. The Jet Reno versus Stamets scenes were kind of great, where they're just like, who has the more witty banter? Of course, Jet Reno wins. That's like no contest. Oh God, what else happens? Oh, when the ship gets hit and they all rock, I have no idea if this line was scripted or like the comedian that plays Jet Reno, where she's like, I had the craziest dream. Like, I was playing drums with Prince and there were doves and there were berets. And I was like, that's great. Like, I have no idea if somebody actually wrote that or if she just like ad-libbed that. I would love to know. So that was interesting. Tilly getting attacked by the spore monster, like, I'm kind of over that whole story. Like, I don't know. I don't find that particularly story interesting in this. I'm more interested in the Red Angel, which is kind of sad because I don't really care about that one. Communicating with May, where they actually, like, put the neural whatever and they can talk to her. And she's like, you're the ones who are killing my species. Thanks for that. Saru's Gangala falling out, and like he is now like he's not scared of anything anymore. So that's an interesting evolution that will be more important as it continues. But that one's kind of good. I like that one. The sphere giving us all the knowledge, like, what is that gonna do? Like, I don't understand the point in that. Like, we're never gonna hear about it again. Fast forward 100 years, like, what did we gain from this knowledge? Who knows? So it kind of moots the whole episode. So I don't know. I didn't like it. And then, of course, like the Reno Stamets drug scene. I don't know. Like, them being high was already kind of funny, where they're talking and they're like, I like you. I like you too. Like, that was great. But like the fisheye lens that was moving over their faces and giving it like the cartoony effect was too much. It was overkill. Like, we get it. Like, they hate each other, but now they're in love. So we get that they're inebriated. I don't need it looking like Roger Rabbit or something with just their faces morphing. So I don't know. It was too much for me. And then, of course, Tilly just being kidnapped. So I don't know. There were parts of it that were good, parts of it that were bad. It just seemed really long and stretched out, and like it was almost filler. Like, how do we get Tilly to be taken away? Well, let's make a whole episode about 100,000-year-old sphere giving us knowledge. What? Like, there could have been a much better way to do that. So, anyways, for those who have seen it, what did you guys think? Go ahead, let me know, and I will see you guys next time for Saints of Imperfection.